Hey, can you see me? It's Maria.
I can see you. I am
Oh,
so
good, because
happy
my
to see you.
camera wasn't working, so
Oh,
good.
okay.
Great.
Hello. Yes, Maria, I can see you, and I am so happy you're here. I see Kara, I see Christian, I see Tom. I know a few more people might be popping on, popping off for all we know. And this is a free country. Thank God, we're going to move ahead. So it is, guys, can you believe it? It is Thursday, May 30th. It is like there's one more full day allegedly in the month of May, and then we have June starting on Saturday. So I had this idea to basically, pull people together, sort of my peeps, my eclectic, both, whether they be young people, whether they be people that are experienced professional leaders, people that may be in transition, people that may be looking to hire other people that may be looking to seek out a new opportunity. So I just had this thought with all of my sort of like head down and developing new programs. I said, why don't we do this every spring and every fall? We put an hour in the calendar and we just call it I know this is really creative, a spring or fall virtual networking event. So this is the spring inaugural kickoff here, the virtual networking event. It is pretty casual, you guys. So there's nothing like you need to like do, have, or say. You're just fabulous here. Your being is the most important thing, because as I know Christian knows, I'm going to do this. We're human beings before we're human doing. So especially when we're talking about networking, what makes networking effective is that we actually feel like we have an authentic human connection, right? Because when we have an authentic human connection and we know, like, and trust the person that we're connecting with, then really new possibilities open up. If you feel like you don't know who you're reaching out to, especially if you're out there looking for work, or even if you're looking to hire somebody or just attract some new opportunity, it's very difficult if you don't know who you're dealing with as a human being. And of course, the age of AI, I think, has just exacerbated a lot of this. And not that it's bad, I just think we need to be able to navigate AI to keep the humans involved in humanity. So I'm a big fan of, like, some intentional networking. And I want you guys to just have an opportunity to say who you are. Hello. I know I did invite Christian as somebody who represents an organization that we're currently serving we have a corporate virtual membership that we help busy organizational leaders set up and run great internship programs. So Tom, that's actually sort of a pivot since the last time we spoke. But Christian may be talking a little bit, for example, about the internship opportunities that they're just about to post for some sort of late summer internship opportunities. So that's great, Christian, that you're here. And then whatever you want to do with the recording or not after this is totally up to you. But just want to give people a chance to say hello. So feel free to take yourselves off mute if you just want to say something about who you are as a person, as a human being first. And then if you want to say something about what you do in the world, that would be wonderful. And if there's something that you'd love to get out of our spring virtual networking event, that would be helpful as well. So who would be willing to go first?
I will.
Yes, Maria. Thank you.
You're welcome. First of all, I just want to ask for everyone's forgiveness because I'm actually doing some paperwork on the computer. So I didn't know about this until very recently. So I'm doing that. And so if you see me looking away, I'm looking at my computer screen. I'm not being rude. That's the first thing I want to say. My name is Maria Lopez. I am bilingual in Spanish, and I'm going to also say bicultural in Latino culture. I've been living in Latino culture for over 30 years, about 32, 33 years. Um, I currently work in healthcare. I'm looking to do something different, quite honestly. Um, I'm not fulfilled where I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would be, and I'm not. I really enjoy working with the community um, and doing outreach, and I'm also a professional writer. I've had articles published, and I was the youngest person ever to be hired for the Worcester Telegram and Gazette. I was hired when I was 16 years old to be a reporter with a byline. So
That's so great.
my yeah,
Just a few years ago, right?
yes, couple of years.
16. Wow.
Yeah, no,
Amazing.
yeah.
And Maria, this you can just totally pass over this, but so you're not fulfilled now, and that this happens in life, right, guys? Ups, downs, all arounds, right? So you're, I mean, I'm biased, but you're so fabulous. You have so much to offer. You bring so much to the table. So, just playing the game, like if I were to give you that sort of dream job magic wand, like 2 or 3 things that you would describe that ideal dream job for you.
I would say like working in public relations,
Yep.
thing with writing, but also I think like I'd love to be like the director of community relations and outreach. And I have a lot of connections across many different sectors, Metro West region, Central Mass region. Um, I'm involved in local government, state government, and I've worked in healthcare extensively. I've also taught English to adult immigrants for over a
Mhm.
decade. And I'm usually someone that people kind of go to kind of bridge the gap between the Latino community and the Anglo community.
Mhm.
So I've kind of helped out in those spaces as well. But yeah, no, I mean, something definitely working in the community. I'm not
Right.
someone that enjoys like sitting at a desk for 8 hours in an office. I like going out and meeting people, and I've also worked in sales. I worked at Balfour Corporation for 7 years. I was the senior sales manager for everything west of 128. So pretty much Massachusetts was my
Yeah,
was
right?
yes, yes. So yeah,
That's great.
so yeah.
Well, I mean, I want you guys to really be the ones talking here today, right? But can you see the power of just like hearing a little bit more in depth what really motivates people and inspires them intrinsically from within, like where she's feeling called? Naturally, when people are speaking from their heart and sort of especially saying they're not currently fulfilled, but they bring all these other skills and passions, right, to that next, like, wouldn't an employer be so lucky, in my opinion, to have Maria on their side, being some sort of an advocate, like an outreach, a manager, obviously something in public or community relations. I think that would be so, it's like you're already doing that. And so now to formalize that a little bit at this stage of the game, Maria, I think it's very much within reach. And I don't know if anybody, I know people are, coming from different places, different backgrounds. A lot of people are from Massachusetts here. I know Mike's calling in from Florida. Um, but anybody just want to say anything in response, and then feel free to, next person, please introduce themselves and say what you're working on and what you might like to get out of the conversation. But before we do that, is there anything that anybody wants to say, sharing with Maria? Is there somebody that that you might want to connect her to? And it doesn't have to happen like on this particular call, but maybe you guys can be connected, utilize the chat during our virtual networking event today. So I see Kara. And then actually, so Kara, share how you can maybe help Maria. I know you guys know each other. And then maybe Kara, you can do the intro after that. Thank you.
I'm Maria.
Kara,
Yeah.
The Kara.
Hey. Hey, Maria, I had a couple of thoughts when you were talking about the kind of position that you're looking for and some of what you bring. And I was wondering if you've tried specifically connecting in an area of public service that interests you, whether it's green energy or housing and new family situation. A lot of those people could really benefit from someone who has Hispanic skills and the kind of background and dedication that I know you have, because we know each other on that level too.
thank you. It's
You're
funny because
welcome.
it was a few months ago there was a job for, I'm not going to name the agency, but it was new families, like new immigrants, helping them.
Yeah.
And it was a very political position. It was a new ED that did not know me, that was from out of the area, and other people were like, "Oh, you should hire Maria." And
Well,
I did the job, and I was very disappointed because I had
Mhm.
worked at that agency like peripherally, not worked for them, getting
yeah.
paid, worked with them, and so that was kind of disappointing. So yeah, I
Mm.
Are,
have that. So that kind of
are you
lets
and I going to be seeing each other on Saturday?
no.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
darn. Okay. Well, please call me, and I have a couple of ideas specifically that I can give you, and we can talk it over.
That's great.
Okay, I don't know that I have your number, so I don't know,
Oh,
like,
put
if,
it right in the chat, ladies, right in the chat,
Okay,
right here and now. Absolutely.
got it.
Use this as a place and an opportunity to connect. Ninja Mike, thanks for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll hear from Kara, and then I'm going to let Tom go next. I know Tom needs to transition out to another meeting at 1 o'clock. So we want to hear what he's up to as well. But Kara, if
Uh,
you like, please feel free to
Let
introduce
Tom go.
yourself. You'd let Tom
Let's
go?
let Tom
Okay.
go
Yeah,
next.
let's let
Yeah.
Tom go next. Okay, Tom, thanks for joining us on the event today. Okay, great. Thanks, Kara.
Very, very gracious of you. Thank you. Maria, I was thinking of the Boys and Girls Club. It's not high paying. I'm on the East Coast in the north of Boston, but I know that that's a great area where they're trying to connect
yeah.
young voices with mentors and resources. So that one comes to my mind quickly.
That's
Okay.
no, thank you. I've actually worked there in a volunteer capacity. I started a mentorship program there for Latina girls that were in middle school. It was a writing workshop that I called it Writing Warriors. So I did work with them. Yeah, and I know the ED. So
Yeah, you
thank
know,
you.
Liz in Worcester, and then Joe, who used to be the ED in, right?
Right.
So, but they're part of that ED network for Boys and Girls Club, and whether it's within Boys and Girls Club, I actually used to work there for a brief stint in 0506, just a couple years ago. But that is, it's worth like, because sometimes they're open to new approaches to new programs, Maria, and there may be funding because it is part of that larger organization. So that's a great
Right.
thought. Or perhaps similar organizations. Thank you, Tom, for that. And welcome, John. Okay, so Tom O'Hare,
The
please
other,
tell
the
us.
other I would say, Maria, is the community college industry.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot now with
Yes.
pre-college planning. So that's definitely an area to look at. Trying to get into the middle and high schools to get younger kids interested.
That's great.
So
Mhm.
Quinn Sig would be a place to look at.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I'm Tom O'Hare. I'm blessed every day to have families invite me into their households, virtually, not literally, to help with college planning, to help with the idea of what to do and how to help students after high school, all the way up to 65-year-olds who want to go back to school can go to school for free in the state of Massachusetts. So I'm a higher ed geek, dad of 4, have 3 grandchildren. I'm down here in Rhode Island actually today babysitting my youngest son's dog because they had to go to a funeral and the dog doesn't like being alone. So
Yeah.
we came down to take care of him. So my world is higher ed, helping individuals think that way, as well as helping individuals make hardcore decisions about not going to school because they're not ready. So that's me. And Christian, at some time, if I have to drop off, I do want to connect with you if you're into the internship world, because I'm always trying to help students in high school and in college get involved in internships.
Amazing. Yes. And Christian was one of our a star participant. And was it last year or the year before, Christian now? And he did transition. He's working for Magic Lamp Consulting, which is an amazing organization supporting nonprofits. And he's in a staff capacity there. So Christian, yeah.
Yeah,
Hi.
I think a year and a half ago, I think was
Year
when
and a
I
half.
joined. So probably almost 2 years ago, I think is when the internship started or something like that.
That's incredible. Wow.
I know, time flies.
I know, Carrie, you're kind of in queue. I don't know if you want Christian. He's
Sure.
either one. If you guys want to, again, if you want, again, we're just, sharing what you're working on, what's going on in your world. If there's something that you guys want us to know that you're working on, that you want, if you want to invite anyone to anything that you're doing, this is a great opportunity. If you're looking for opportunity, if you're looking, like in Christian's case with his organization, they're looking to bring in new interns. So you're going to hear from him in a moment. And I know Ninja Mike, you're working on all kinds of things. John, I spoke to about a month ago, looking forward to hearing what he's up to now. So you guys just please feel free. I was actually doing an in-person training with young people actually at a regional high school. That's another whole thing. I'll share a little bit about what I've been up to as well in a bit. But the whole idea of like popcorn facilitation, it's like, guys, don't make me call on you. Just take yourselves off mute. This is your space. Just be mindful of not talking over one another. But this is really your space. And I appreciate you all so much. So whoever would like to go, please just be mindful of others and go for it. So Kara, yes, thank you.
Hi, my name's Kara. I live in Central Mass, Southborough right now. I used to be in Westborough. I'm very active in Central Mass politics. I'm a Democrat, actually, and an elected official. My day job is in technical writing in medical device and pharma. I've done a lot of it over the years. And I spent a lot of time contracting, which means that I got exposure to a lot of different areas of products and quality areas. And if anybody has any questions about networking on the quality level, on medical device, pharma, GMP, technical writing, engineering. I also worked in immigration law for a while. So anyhow, if anybody is looking for someone to network with regarding this area, I'm happy to help.
Amazing.
Thanks.
I love that. So just sort of, guys, points of contacts and people, you start peeling back the layers of us humans and we're so fascinating. Like we're not just this one thing, right? Like I think sometimes people like to just label people from afar and they are their job title, right? Or if you happen to be in transition and you're unemployed and we've all been there, you're like stamped unemployed, right? And it's like, we are so much more than that. We are multifaceted human beings. And I love, Kara, that you invited people to connect with you as a resource to help facilitate additional networking, especially in your areas of specialty. So that is fantastic. If you would like, and again, to benefit others, guys, I am recording this, which means if we did need to go back and look at the chat, if there's any resources that you want to drop for each other. So Kara, if you wanted to perhaps just mention a few of the areas of specialty that if people did want to come back and network with you based on what
Sure.
you just mentioned that maybe they didn't capture just listening, that would be great to utilize the chat in that way too. So great. Thank you again for being here. Wonderful. So why don't we do, again, guys, I hate to feel like I'm calling on you. So just feel free, like if you want to speak, this is your moment. I know we've got a few people we haven't heard from yet, and I just want people to feel free to be as they are. Obviously, eat your lunch, sip on whatever you do. Okay. So who would we love to hear from next? So it's totally up to you guys. Christian, Mike, John.
I guess I'll go next.
Okay, amazing. Thanks, Christian.
All right. So, hi, I'm Christian. I guess I'll do the human being stuff before the human doing
He's
stuff.
like, Amy trained me.
I know. Let's see. I think for the most part, I mean, just for what I'm doing outside of work, I'm looking forward to the weather getting sort of
Yeah.
warmer and the state park opening up because I love like sort of hiking and kayaking. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, it's I spent a lot of time sort of working out, which is fun. About a year ago, I got into sort of fitness. I'm down like 45 pounds or something like that. So
Wow.
it's been a fun journey. Still got a little ways to go though. But yeah, for the human doing part, I work at Magic Lamp Consulting. I'm their IT analyst, so I work a lot with what sort of our IT is, our sort of softwares, our tech stack, sort of a lot of our internal operations. I help with a lot with that. Sort of making sure that we don't have a lot of friction in our daily processes to sort of save on time and make things run a little smoother. And then recently, I've sort of been put as the lead for our sort of internship program, where we're looking for this summer to sort of bring in some interns to work with our nonprofit clients to sort of aid them in their sort of marketing plans for the aid the nonprofit clients with their sort of marketing goals for the year because a lot of nonprofits don't have a real marketing plan, and so our goal is to sort of give them a baseline to work off of with the interns. Yeah, I mean, I could go into more description. I'm not sure if I save that for later, but
you know what, Christian, thank you for so much. I think, first of all, I love to know a little bit more about what you're up to, and I totally get it. I'm not too far from you geographically. I'm right there with you with the parks and the sun. So guys, the power of somebody sharing a little bit about what they enjoy outside of work, doesn't that sort of make you feel already a little bit more connected with Christian? So great job with that. And for mentioning the internship program, I do want to give you a chance, and don't feel like you're on the spot, but feel free to pull up that internship job description. I know you and Debbie and Garrett have been working on, and I do think it's a wonderful opportunity. It's a little bit unique because it's a shorter internship than most internships are. So why don't you just take another minute or two? If you want to literally grab the job description, if you need a minute, let me know. But I would just sort of like highlight in a little bit more detail. So in the event you did want to use this piece to, circulate, it's sort of you talking just about that internship. So let's give it another minute or two if you would like.
Yeah, sure. I can finish that. I wasn't sure if we want to just kind of all introduce each other first, then we can.
I think
do
you're on
stuff
a
then.
roll. I just want to give you a minute, and I don't want you to feel like it's like this formal thing, but just talk a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
We can always come back to you as well, Christian. Just let us know.
Should I share my? I have the document up right
I
now.
would love it. Let me allow share. Absolutely. Let's do that. That's perfect.
I
Could
just
I
have
say
the.
Christian, while you're like getting that called up on the screen,
Mhm.
I am on the board of Together We Eat, which is a nonprofit, and the company that Christian works for is the company that does our grant writing, and they're fabulous. So if Christian is connected with that, he must be fabulous too.
Ooh, so you see that testimonial, Christian? You never know who are on these things, right?
I know.
Thank you for saying that, Maria. That's great. I love those connections, common connections. And actually, John probably knows these players that we're all talking about too, being from the Worcester, Massachusetts. And Mike, I know, my Florida friend who's always like, why is she always raving about Worcester, Massachusetts? But you guys get it. You totally get it. All right, Christian. So take it away.
Yeah. So our goal for the internship is a sort of marketing term with a specific focus of assisting our nonprofit clients. It starts in July 9th and ends in August 6th, which means it's a shorter internship. 6 weeks. Amy says, it's not the longest. It's a very short internship. It's kind of a little too short. But I think we can fit pretty much everything that we want to within that sort of duration. The number of hours is going to be changing to 20 hours per week because we had some changes with the sort of funding side of it. It is an unpaid position and it is a hybrid position, so you don't necessarily need to be close to us to do it. We are open to sort of a more fully remote sort of applicant. For the sort of summary of the position, we're looking for someone that is just really interested in marketing, preferably someone who is in the process of doing getting a marketing degree, whether it's undergraduate or they're even a graduate student if they're looking for additional work or sort of experience. The sort of goal for this internship is to both sort of provide some real world experience with designing and developing a marketing plan for the year for a nonprofit sort of sector, like in a nonprofiting context, as well as sort of provide the opportunity for the intern to gain some certificates through HubSpot. Currently, I'm rescheduling and sort of rebuilding the internship program to be a little bit more geared towards earning those certificates, especially seeing as it is an unpaid internship. So HubSpot does offer a variety of marketing themed / focused certificates, which I'm trying to build them into the schedule.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, but so I will say a lot of this is sort of being restructured right now just because of that last week having sort of the change of the funding going away. So it is being trimmed down from what it currently is.
This is fantastic. Thank you, Christian, for going over this. And I do think it could be the right fit for somebody. So in that, say 15, I always recommend if it's not paid that it be around 15 hours or less per week, but that 15 to, if it's mutually agreeable, 20 hours, really looking, and maybe the people on this call thinking about, who do you know that, could use just sort of like that burst of real world experience. It's pretty flexible. It's virtual. It is non-paid, but to call it an internship, it needs to be a majority benefit to the intern so that Magic Lamp Consulting and other organizations that are hosting interns, they know it is distinct from a regular job in that the training and education of that intern is first and foremost. So they've been doing a great job developing this opportunity, and it is only 6 weeks. But again, you want to think about young people in your network that might be able to benefit from this basic idea and add these specific skills and experiences and have that much more confidence. Let's say, especially if they're going into like their junior, especially senior year in college. And remember that not all interns are in college currently. They may have been taking a break. There may be other arrangements. So think about who you guys might know in your network. And then Christian, what's the best way? Do you guys have, when this is updated, you're going to have an updated link from your website. Is that correct? That people can distribute, help you distribute?
Yes, if you want to find out more information on the sort of role at the bottom of our website, magiclampconsulting.com, you'll find a link to our careers page. And within that careers page, there'll be a posting where you can find more information on this.
So
and
Christian,
provide information.
Can you throw that in the chat, please?
Exactly. I was just going to say,
So I can just
great
grab
idea.
that.
And Christian, we
I'm just trying to
recognize-
read the little, I can't read half this stuff. sorry.
Yeah.
I know it's small.
Yeah.
No, that's a great
Stop
point.
sharing
But
real quick so I can do
you
that.
guys, when we network, right, we're here to help each other, right? I have the most amazing boyfriend. His name is Ramon. And one of his favorite lines is, we are here, meaning we are on planet Earth to help one another.
Yeah.
That is why we are here. Like, there's so much that doesn't make sense about being a human in this world. It's a lot of chaos. The headlines are wild, right? We're here to help each other. So anytime we can help share what you guys are doing, we would love to be able to provide that forum. And Christian, we recognize that that's a little bit in transition, so we'll take that with a grain of salt. But when do you think you'll be updating that so that people can share that accurately the way you want it to be?
Hopefully by the end of the week. I do need
Okay.
to meet with Debbie once more just to sort
That's
of
perfect.
sort of flatten it out.
Thank you. Thank you. Tom, I know we're coming up on 1 o'clock and you probably need to head out. So good luck.
Super.
Thank you again for being here, and let's definitely chat sooner than later, because I would love to hear more about what you're doing right now and how we might collaborate and what's coming. And good luck with the dog. Okay.
Definitely. Thank you for the quick and thank you for the opportunity to jump in. And Christian, I'm going to look at that when you do that update. I got a couple people in mind.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
Good.
See
for a
that?
couple
See
coffee
that?
kids.
Yes.
All right.
Love
Thank you,
it.
folks. Nice to meet
Fantastic.
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Tom. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. All right. So Mike, why don't you jump right in? Hello. Thank you for being here.
All right, welcome. Thank you for the invite. My name is Mike. I'm called Ninja Mike, the OG original geek. I've been doing all things online since 1989, even before it became a business opportunity. And I want to go back with Christian saying you're getting those HubSpot certificates. The good and bad thing about certificates, you're going to get them. And then as soon as you're done, it's not valid to change. So it's good to have as many certificates as you can. You got to do it every year. So again, at least that's a good thing to work on, because at least it'll never get stale. It'll continue to be valid. So I think that's a good part to put in that program. I have a lot of contacts in the professional speaker world, video, and contacts in marketing. I have a lot of marketing agencies I network with regularly, as well as people that own graphic design companies. So if you do know somebody looking to be in the graphic design world or in a marketing world, I do have people all the time looking to hire. I'll throw my info in the chat there.
Thank you.
That's great. So
And I know
Mike,
Amy for about 4 years.
yes, I was going to say, we met during the height of COVID virtually in one of these various entrepreneurial sort of, let's get each other revved up and let's come together and believe that we can build these businesses during such a chaotic time. So we met virtually, and we were supporting each other in terms of like an accountability, like an entrepreneurial accountability type structure that we set up. Mike is really great with accountability structures and also helping, especially entrepreneurs and creatives, actually get their content out in the world. So I was pretty impressed with what he was doing. So supportive, helping people create basically content creation days, content creation retreats where you can really focus on, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, Kara, and I know, John, you do a lot of sort of content creation as well, where it's like, if you're feeling unfocused, it can be really tricky, especially with everything that was going on early COVID. And Mike was able to kind of help myself and others really get focused and put out the content that's going to attract the people you actually want to serve. And that was invaluable. And then I did get to meet him. I actually think it's all a
We met
blur.
on January, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Okay. So he's based
The
in
first
Florida.
through the 7th.
I traveled to Florida, and actually I want to give him a shout out. He is coming up at, I'll say, under his typical consultant speaker fee. He's coming up, and I'm speaking this out loud because we just chatted yesterday and confirmed it, guys. But something I'm so excited about is I am going to be doing an in-person career and leadership conference supporting 18 to 29-year-olds at the Venture X in Marlboro on Friday, June 21st from 9 to 5 all day. And it's gonna blow their mind. Anyways, so Ninja Mike is traveling up to Massachusetts to help really structure and more so capture the event, because it's going to be an inaugural career and leadership conference, CLC, and it's probably going to be that third Friday of the month every year. So this is the first one kicking it off. We have a limited number of seats, guys, but I didn't mean to do that whole pitch right now, but I'm so excited about it, and he just reminded me of it. So I'm just going to say, guys, one of the things I'm working on, that if you know people that are 18 to 29 years old that are looking for a real career boost, we are going to have the most incredible interactive exercises. They're going to be looking at their lives. They're going to be looking at their values, their visions. We're having a couple of industry panel experts, so subject matter experts on both in-demand skills that employers are looking for today, with a focus on project management skills that are so transferable across industry. That'll be in the morning. We'll have sort of a team lunchtime challenge. And then in the afternoon, we're going to do more on leadership, communication, resiliency skills. And we're going to have some SME, some subject matter experts in that area as well. So if you know young people that are looking to like blast off, please let me know, because we've got about 20 spots total on that June 21st. So let me know. And I'm hoping that we're going to run out of space for next year. We're going to have to find a new venue, right, Mike? When you come up next year, it's going to be a whole new
Yes.
thing. Yes.
We're going to
Okay.
use this Zoom call recording as part of the promo.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm like, Amy, put yourself on mute. So thank you, Mike. You're amazing. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
And I want to hear from John Carnegie. Thank you for joining us. I know this is a little bit impromptu, but I appreciate you being here. Tell us, what are you working on these days? What are you up to?
Well, I am just visiting because I wanted to see what is indeed happening in Massachusetts. I lived in Worcester since 74 to 2021, and I participated in a number of different civic engagement activities and interacted with many nonprofits. And so I just wanted to get a sense of the environmental scan, since I've been out of town long enough to really be a newbie. And of course, Amy has been doing some tremendous work in enabling and empowering so many different people and organizations to do great work. And of course, in the third sector, this is why I wanted to get a sense as to what has happened since COVID has no longer become a pandemic, and just gain a sense of how I might be supportive. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, John. Yes. And third sector, if you guys haven't heard that terminology, just like the nonprofit sector. So it's typically private nonprofit that are, doing the work. So whether they're, small or larger organizations, there's a lot of social impactors out there that may not be part of a formal government structure, but are still obviously adding a lot of value to our day-to-day lives. You guys, if you think about a world without nonprofit organizations, right? And I'll extend that to social enterprises. Like my company, Visions Internships, happens to be a for-profit social enterprise doing similar work. But absolutely, if you think about our world without the current third sector, as John put it, we'd be living in a very different world, right? We're already facing so many challenges socially, environmentally. You guys, the more I talk about this idea of sort of the purpose gap, more and more of the employers are really getting it, because I've been taking the angle of, young people today are often misunderstood. They're not lazy, unmotivated, just wanting to live in their parents' basement for life. That's not who most young people are, but they do get sometimes a bad reputation. I feel like, especially since COVID, there's a lot that they're feeling like, you know what, I want to do something purposeful. I want to do well for myself and do good work in the world. I want to, deal with this purpose gap. I don't want to just be going through the motions. And sometimes even if they hold that college degree and they've worked so hard and now they're in debt, sometimes they default back to the barista or the babysitter job that they didn't need the expensive degree, because they want to work on more purposeful work on the side. So we want employers to really get that memo that young people are quite ambitious and motivated and are really striving to make a difference in the world. And so they need to incorporate that more proactively, I would say, into their recruiting materials. So they want to recruit, but not just recruit, but retain. young people today. And the more I talk to companies, both for profit and nonprofit, they're really getting that, what I'm saying. And I think they're a little bit more in tune. Like if we want to attract and retain young people, we need to not just assume that they know what we do, because a lot of them are already doing good work, but they're not emphasizing it a whole lot in their recruiting or their marketing materials. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but I'm seeing a little bit of a shift in talking to a lot of employers. I feel like they're getting that a little bit more. Any thoughts on that?
Well, one of the things that I heard this morning on CBS World News Roundup is the fact that there are so many individuals that are in our demographic that are having their either children, adult children, or grandchildren who have that challenge with affordable housing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they have then also taken out of their nest eggs and their retirement plans just to ensure that their children have a roof over their heads. So being able to facilitate that knowledge, that passion, the investment they have made in degrees or in certification programs,
Yeah.
that something else has destabilized them is so critical and important. And the information, for example, for the young lady who is an elected official and is now in Southborough, the capabilities, she talked about technical writing and other skill sets. Many of these young people are also entrepreneurial. I know,
Right.
Amy, you have done a lot of work with that sector as well. So you never know how things will come together.
Right.
And the last point is that the federal government is the only entity that can print money. And so there are some solutions that ultimately I'll talk offline with Amy, make sure there's synchronicity there, and we'll bring that back because especially during hard times, the federal government has more contracts available in 40 different industries that fit perfectly. But I don't want to speak to that. I know this has got a primary focus and I'm here to learn and listen. Thank you.
No, that's okay. No, it's a really important point. Thank you, John. Amazing. See, Kara, it's eternal. You're everywhere all the time. I mean, we all have such different like sets, like combinations of skills, interests, assets, right? And especially in a networking event like this, sometimes when we share something, even like Christian shared how enjoys hiking. You know what I mean? It's shocking, and I've seen it so many times. Somebody else wants to go hiking. All of a sudden, they decide to meet up in a couple weeks at the state park when it's a little bit warmer. They start chatting, and all of a sudden, a new door can open up that might, whether it's a housing opportunity or a business opportunity or a new hire, right? Like I know, Maria, you might think about what are the things that you enjoy doing that, and I know you're such a social creature and you're always helping and connecting other people. And when you can go ahead and, even if it's like, oh, okay, this is something a little new and different, but what's something, Maria, that you really enjoy in your spare time, so to speak, spare time, in your free time? What's like something you enjoy doing, like Christian shared about hiking?
I like hiking too, but I really love music. All
Awesome.
different music have always delighted me. So
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, like I like research stuff about the things I'm interested in. I research it, and so
I
I
love
know
that.
a lot about different kinds of genres and artists and that kind of stuff. So that you
That's so
wouldn't
great.
maybe expect someone like me to know.
Well, the reason I bring that up, thank you for sharing that. The reason I bring that up, and I want everybody to be thinking.
Another thing you like, Maria, is another thing Maria likes that I remember is communication. She's very, very expressive, and she's very open to receptive language too. So she really knows how to use her voice as a really strong tool.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful. The
Thanks.
reason I say that, I want everybody to be thinking about what do you enjoy doing in the time that you're not scheduled to work. The reason I say that in a networking session like this is because similar to dating, right? When you are true to your own heart and you're engaged in activities that light you up, right? That you get excited about. You guys know when, like Christian, when you know you're going to go for a hike today, how does that feel when you're waking up in the morning? You're like, booyah. I can't wait to, fill my water bottle and do what I got to do, grab my favorite snack, and I'm hitting the trail. And you're excited. You're living into a future that inspires you, it excites you. When that's the case, you're being drawn into the future, right? As opposed to like doing something that you don't enjoy and then you're still living into that future and it's kind of like, maybe this isn't going to be a very good day. But when you can wake up and get excited and you're living into a future that inspires you, and then what do you know, other people that might share a similar interest as you might find them on the trail. Or Maria, if you're going to go, maybe you put out the goal, right? Because you love music, right? You don't have to explain that to anybody. You don't even care if people don't like what you like. Who cares? You like what you like. So why don't you put a fun goal? And it could be ultimately related to your work, but it doesn't have to be. But my point is, why don't you say, you know what, this summer, minimum, I'm going to go to 4 live concerts or live shows. Doesn't have to be a big formal concert, but live shows at a local bar in Worcester, right? Or you travel to cross the border to Rhode Island, right? You get wild. Do something that excites you guys in the area that you're passionate about, especially in the warmer weather here in New England. I'm just going to fix my video for a quick second. And you can start to, first of all, get excited, and then you start to meet new people that might share your interests, and you could get on a phone call or go for a walk, and all of a sudden you could be helping each other, whether it's on the career front, networking. You could be a resource for other people because it's just so natural wanting to be around people that enjoy what you enjoy doing. So don't overlook that, you guys, especially in the summertime. So I want everybody on this call to be thinking about, what do I really enjoy doing that maybe I wasn't doing so much in February in Massachusetts, right? Although we did have a very mild winter, I have to say. And John, that's another whole conversation about the state of the climate. So we'll set that over here, and it's very important. But what is something that you're like, oh, I definitely want to get to doing this summer? And who knows who I can meet? Like I promised you guys, I did last summer, I told my daughter I was going to take her on a ferry ride, and it never worked out. We did a lot of other cool things, but this was like on the punch list of things I didn't get to. So she's got me nailed for the summer. It's like, we are going on a ferry ride. And I know Ninja Mike has a friend that we may be visiting when you're up here. So that could be an example. Put things in the calendar that get you excited this summer and watch doors open up.
That's what I want to add to what Amy is saying. I've facilitated many networking groups. In 2005, I was running 2 per week. If you ever get to facilitate one, some of the things I would get away with, like not to say price, quality, service. I would take all those words away. It's like, tell me one thing personal about you and go. And
Yeah.
that actually, that day, everyone's connecting like, oh, I'm a car guy. I got to say one crazy thing about yourself. So everybody went around and said, and people are connecting. Oh, I have a kid in baseball. Oh, I have whatever it was. And then my joke was back in 2005 or 6, I had a brand new RX-8. I'm like, hi, my name's Mike. I watch Too Fast, Too Furious, too much. And that is my RX-8 outside. I have like like the same one as the movie. And then I made some car friends like, oh, I've got a Corvette I never take out. Let's go to the cars. I got invited to Cars and Coffee. The guy's telling me because at the time, the 2004 Corvette went to 4 cylinders when it was idling. It's like, it's an economy car. If you ever have to tell your wife, you have to get an economy car. So it was like a big joke in the group. So you never know who you're gonna have fun with. And then
Totally.
I made all these guys started bringing out their classic cars because of me.
That's
And
so
then
great.
it said, see what you have in common just in your next networking group. And it asked the facilitator, say, hey, can we just do one personal thing about us before we go into any business thing?
Awesome. And you guys, as adults, it almost feels like, can we talk about fun things? Like if it's my work time, like, is that legal? Is that okay? Is my employer going to get upset? It's like, well, people do business with those they know, like, and trust. And they tend to do business, whether they are hiring or bringing on a client contract, whatever it is, because they're either like you or they like you, right? And Kara and Maria, that comes a lot from Bounce, to give Maria credit. Maria, who developed Bounce. The idea that people do business with people they know, like, and trust, and they bring on people in various capacities because they're like them or they like them. And it's oversimplified, but it's worth remembering even in an AI era. And I'll say something quickly about AI. And if you guys, I'm sure there's a lot of comments on this. you know, there's books out there. I want to say, is it the 4 or 5 hour work week? I know, Mike, you probably know that.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss,
thing.
4-hour
Yeah,
work week.
sure. So, you know, it's like when you first hear that, you're like, oh, that's crazy. Those lazy bastards, you know, they don't want to work. But it's like, you know, how can we leverage AI and other tools to sort of collapse the time frame and be more efficient and effective, and, you know, lean on AI in a positive sense so that we can achieve more of a even a 10 or a 20-hour work week down the road. Like, we can work smarter, not always harder. And that's one, I think, positive aspect of AI. If anybody wants to comment briefly on that topic, it's so huge, but any.
Okay, last one. So this my secret is I made in January. I wanted to be one of the top 10% marketers in AI technology. I've been taking classes for the last year. Every month, I'm in Mind Valleys. I'm in regular people's classes. I'm on just the vendors, the distributors, and the developers. So I'm in it every day. So again, that was my goal next year, to just know so much, and you can take away thing. In fact, I'd rather have a Rosie, you know, doing my laundry and cooking me food. But for now, if you're doing my business, the content creation, you don't have to be stuck for ideas. So now it used to take my shop, like I said, just to take an hour-long video like this Zoom call and cut up into little shorts. That would take me probably 3 hours, possibly a couple of days. Now I just put it in some software. I go do some stuff. I come back with an email. I just have to look at it really quickly, and it said that is saving me, you know, 1 to 3 full days. So there's other things. If you don't make it write things for you, but I'm building what's called AI. I'm calling them my little robots, or your agents. If you have ChatGPT 4.0, you can actually build it to be your own helper. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Harmon Brothers. That's Squatty Potty, Purple Mattress. They do all the crazy commercials. So I built my own Harmon Brothers writer. So I tell them I put all the stuff in there. It took me about 2 weeks to build it. And now I say, please write me an infomercial for this company, Harmon Brothers style, with my flair, and here's all the things. And it'll spit me out an entire infomercial that I would have normally had to pay. They're like a $50,000 retainer.
Yeah.
But I built my own Harmon Brothers writing team.
That's
So
amazing.
you can that's things you can do
Right.
for yourself, for your clients, even if you want to clone yourself. If you're doing on the resume side, maybe you're just out of school and have a small formula to show you, wait, what's cool about you, have it do an interview format of all the things you've done that are irrelevant to you now.
Right.
But when it spits it out, you'll have this really amazing 30-second pitch for that job interview.
Right. Amazing.
So these are some of the things that you can do with AI. Again, I don't spell well at the top of my head, so that helps a lot. And AI has been around forever, for about 20 years. Most people know it as ChatGPT, but it's been around since your predictive text. It's been around for Amazon. Hey, you bought this, you might want to get this. And AI is not going to replace, it's going to enhance. And those that know how to use it, you'll be that much further ahead in the job market. Because if you can come into a job saying, hey, I'm familiar with AI, and I could probably cut about 7 hours worth of human time per week out. So now you're going to be the effective person. So I'm going to hire the effective person versus the person that's not using AI.
Oh, we should take that clip. Fantastic. Thank you for that example. I think, John, were you going to add something to that?
Yes, again, you know, it's great because you have Christian, who is providing IT services to different organizations, and of course, what Mike had mentioned pertaining to automobiles and just what are fun things about you. You know, the circumstance is one where my sister Ruth, who was born just a couple of years after me, she loves driving stick shift, and she absolutely enjoys that. I know how to do it. I can do it if you put a gun to my head, but I prefer automatic. So the capabilities that AI can help facilitate is it gives you the ability to do more. And as long as you are, just as Mike was mentioning, you're thinking of it as a team. If you're, you know, at a C-suite level or something of that nature, you've got your VPs, your direct reports, all of those other things that can be managed, and that helps to collapse the amount of time or increase the productivity. So we don't want to give it 100% capabilities, but there's so much more. Thank you so much.
And the and sign doesn't get
AI and
It's right. It's not people
And
or AI, right?
it's
So it's
and.
having that expansive mindset. And I think I love what we just covered. And Christian, something that comes to my mind, especially knowing how tech savvy and sort of big picture thinker you are, I wonder, especially with your role helping to make more efficient the process of, you know, all the various nonprofits that are looking to position themselves financially, right? That's essentially what they're doing. That's oversimplified. But the idea of like, you know, what kind of, you know, perhaps down the road, sort of like AI tool suite could you sort of like develop, no pressure, to basically help their experience so that when they come on as a nonprofit client of Magic Lamp Consulting, what could that sort of onboarding of a new client look like in a way that's made even more efficient and effective by the right sort of relevant AI tool suite, if that makes sense. So that's just sort of a thought that I had. If you have any quick comments on that.
And AI is always something that's in our tech meetings every week. It's every
Yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah.
AI pops up in the conversation.
Yep.
I mean, whether we're talking about how we're going to use it or how we can sort of utilize it, you know, it is everywhere nowadays.
Right.
I mean, its applications are so wide. I mean that I was thinking about the was it the handshake?
Mhm.
What was the event that you had sent to us?
Yes, May
Uh,
1st and 2nd, access.
yeah, hey, the handshake access. I feel like almost half the talks that they did were essentially discussing AI and how they're utilizing it or how it needs to be something that you really have to look at in like
Yeah,
resumes. Like when
yeah.
you're hiring, it's AI should be something you should actually be aware of. And if they say they
Mhm.
have prompting skills with AI, like that's an extremely valuable skill to have.
Yes. That's great. No, thank you. So guys, how do you sort of share with people what you're up to or what you want people to know about what you're up to? I'm just sort of curious. What do you guys tend to use? Is it like LinkedIn? Do you have like an email list, like a distribution list? Like when you're working on something that you want other people to know about, right? What, if anything, do you do to achieve that on somewhat regular basis?
Rose?
Kara, sorry, I think you cut out there.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh,
froze, so
oh, you
I
froze.
don't
Okay.
know what you
Yeah.
finished with. Yeah.
Oh, just curious how you guys like you're working on something, you're excited about it, you want, you know, at least if not the whole world, right? You want at least your target audience that you're looking to attract, you know, to learn about your services, your products, your offers. Like, how do you guys network on a regular basis? Do you have anything that you normally do or you would like to do more of? I'm just sort of curious. Take a quick pulse and obviously optional, but just curious.
For my political work, I use Facebook and other social
Mhm.
media to try to create interest about events or issues.
Okay.
But on the business side, this technical writing that I do is really proprietary.
Yeah.
And so I need to be private about that. And that all takes place in-house. And I usually use like, if I want to use something in-house, then I use SharePoint or Teams to get stuff out.
Okay. Sort of like if you were to attract a new client, even like how do you do your own, if you will, organic or other sort of advertising of your services to get more people in? What is your main method of getting
The
people?
way I stimulate calls is
Mm,
I just tweak my LinkedIn profile and then I get calls every single day, whether I
that's
do
amazing.
something or not. Well, I just have that great a resume for today's market. So, so if I'm really looking for a job, then I'll change LinkedIn
Hmm.
and maybe post a couple of things,
Yeah,
and then I get better phone
awesome.
calls.
And
Yeah,
I love the confidence. And you guys, confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is knowing that you add value, right?
yeah.
And again, if anybody, and again, some people, if you're nonprofit or for profit, but you know, a lot of us here are in the sort of the nonprofit arena looking to make that social impact. But whatever it is, you know, you have value that you're adding. And, you know, when people look at sales as service, as opposed to salesy or awkward, right? Like when you believe in the service and product, like Kara, your ability to deliver value is very clear, you know, and I only know you more from you know, like a friend, a neighbor, somebody I had met, I think originally back at the Career Center. Like we've got sort of a long, interesting history, like a lot of you guys. But you know, however I know you, I don't know, I've never myself benefited from like your technical writing, but I have no doubt of the value that you offer. I may not be your target audience in that arena, but knowing you, it's a natural for me to, you know, even know that one or two kind of bits that you add and who your target audience is. And then I want to be able to pass the word on if and when that makes sense. So another thing I want to say before we wrap up, and I know we have a few more minutes here, but when you guys are networking, right? And I know it's like this word that sometimes, especially for young people, they're like kind of glazed over. It's like, oh gosh, networking. What do you mean? Like, what is that? Who do I talk to? What do I say? So I want you to think about when you're not in the room, what do you want me or anyone else to say? That one liner, right? On why I should rave about Kara. I need to know the essence of how she adds value and to whom is her ideal client, right? Sometimes called ideal client or customer avatar, ICA, and some of the marketing lingo. I want you to not feel like you're the only one marketing yourself, your value, your services. I want to be able to market and rave about you. So think about
Okay, so
making it easy for somebody else to rave about you in a natural way that's not awkward. Okay, so that's a point I wanted to make sure I reinforced during the networking session today.
this doesn't sound informal. It's kind of a tagline. I have an insightful way of applying knowledge
Mhm.
and organizing information. And that I think is, you know, really key to communication.
I do
you know?
too. And
Yeah.
for fun, drop that as is in the chat. And you guys, this is completely optional, but if you want to do like, what is your one liner? Like, why would someone rave about you? What, in other words, what value do you offer so that I can, you know, whether it's that line or I can at least say it in my own words, but it's like conveying why they should connect with you. Totally optional, but if you want to drop that in the chat, it's great practice. Really great practice to always be attracting who you'd like to bring into your world. And I think Ninja Mike, you want to say something. I can feel you. Go
I
ahead.
know. I just
Yeah.
whatever Amy's saying, take that and just get it ready so you have your one liner or your 30-second. Because when I go to network, I'm like, hi, my name's Mike. Who do I know that you need to know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then once you tell me that, I already have all your stuff in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, now I know who to introduce you to. So when
good.
it's almost like a serve, like you get to network, you don't go to
Yes.
network.
Yes.
I've just forgotten what I said. So.
I think
That's
something
okay.
about organizing information but there was a
That I
second.
have an insightful way of applying knowledge
Insightful.
to
Yes.
um
That's what it was.
to
Insightful way of applying knowledge. And then I think she said organizing.
Let's go back to the replay.
We can go back to the replay. That's why
That's why we have this record. I
Yeah.
think things come, it's come out of your head. It's like a one-time genius. That's why you got to record everything.
So good. But guys, I'm trying to figure out this as well for our company because we really have, we've really after, I've been in business somehow for 3.5 years with this internship services business. And actually, Mike, you were there from the get-go.
Yes.
And John, I mean, way before Kara, I mean, Christian kind of came into my world. I've known Maria for so long. So, I mean, you know, and I know guys, we are at where it's 1:29. We have about a minute left. If anybody has to jump right at 1:30, I might go 2-3 minutes beyond because I want to say a couple of things to make sure everybody gets value in wrapping up. And I do want you guys to know, like, we've shifted. So like, I'm still alive as a business, and it's probably because we've been able to shift and, you know, survive as a business long enough to be able to really hear from our two key audiences. I think you guys both know that we serve the busy organizational leader, right? Especially in the social impact space. So they could be for-profit, nonprofit, but it's the organization. We used to have a do-it-for-you service, and then Amy hit the wall. So our do-it-for-you service for organizations, where we would find, train, manage, mentor interns to get projects done for your organization. That was sort of our thing. And then I said, oh, wow, why can I only serve 3 clients and 6 interns and never scale? Well, I don't know, because the whole world thinks, the whole world, you see how positive thinking that is? The people that know us said, well, that's a great kind of do-it-for-you service. And, you know, they related to Amy's internship program and Amy's interns. That's a problem. So now we realize, and thank God we've been alive and survived that crazy, what do they call that? The valley of death for the entrepreneur, right? Where you're not right in startup, but you've been operating enough to say, holy crap, if we don't resolve this, we're going to be out. So basically what we did is we now have more of a B2B service, a business to business service, where our main primary offer, and this came to be 2023. Many of you guys know my mom got very sick and passed away in December, the same quarter that I had put all my eggs in that basket to launch our Internship Insider corporate virtual membership. So gosh, did I learn a lot during that time. I'm like, well, I'm so glad I chose my mom over my membership. And I get goosebumps thinking about that. Somehow, because I had enough in place that we did launch January 10th, which was really a miracle. We have 4 amazing founding members. Actually, Magic Lamp Consulting is one of our members. We are prepping right now to open up that membership again for new organizational leaders July 24th. So that's something to know, you guys. If you know any other organizations that need professional help, and it's very streamlined, it's time and cost effective. It's like 10 hours a month for me to work with the right people in that organization to help them set up and run the right internship program for them. So the result is it's their internship program, and guess what? They're interns. But I've developed the 5 stages of internship development where we're walking them through what needs to happen at each stage, and I'm there as a professional consultant at a fraction of the price. So that's the model. I am just thrilled that we were able to kick it off, given everything I've been through. And not only did my mom pass away in December, some of you know that my stepdad just passed away 3 weeks ago. And it's been almost like I almost have no words. And you guys know I typically have words. Like, it's just, I have been like on the personal front, just kind of like in awe. And all the unexpected fallout that has occurred and continues to unfold. And for those of you who are part of blended families, how that the communication is essential. And there's just a lot that I didn't see coming. So navigating that on the personal front while also moving our business forward. But I think to say that now, what is the primary thing that Visions Internships does? And this is great practice for me, guys. And I know we're over time, so thank you. But what we mainly do now is we help social impact organizations grow sustainable internship programs through this membership. And guys, just because I have it right here and you're all being so gracious, and if you hang up, I won't take it personally, I promise you. But I'm going to just share my screen, guys, because this is something that I'm working on, making sure that we get out to the world. What the heck are we doing now? Because people, even if they know us, love us, have faith in us as professionals, they can't read our mind, right? So I'm like, oh, I might want to communicate what we're actually doing now. So FYI, and this is more practice for me, guys. So again, thanks. For organizations, we have this Internship Insider membership that opens 3rd Wednesday of January and 4th Wednesday of July. We open this membership, it's virtual, twice a year for those organizations that want that help setting up and running a great internship program. So that's our main thing. Then I came up with this idea, you guys, right? You can develop a program. I'm looking at John because of all of your experience, and Kara with programs, and Maria. You can develop a program all day long, but if you don't have a way to sustain and maintain that program and the people in it, oh my goodness. So I've come up with something in response from a lot of our organizations we've worked with over almost 3 years, something that we have a recipe that we say, okay, if you're our member, here you go. Here's our recipe for keeping your interns on track. I call it the GPA coaching model, and it stands for not grade point average, my friends, but goal setting, productivity, and accountability. So we have this
Amy loves
added
acronyms.
layer, right? I know. I think you know where I'm coming from here.
Letters.
You see what I did there? So we help keep your interns on track for an upgraded fee for our members. And there's a discount if you're already in our membership. But it is a standalone service if you know organizations that already have an internship program, but they need help keeping their interns on track. So that's a really exciting development for our company. And then we also have other training, speaking, consulting, coaching services for Visions. On the young professional side, yes, we still work with young professionals, guys. I've gotten advisors to tell me, Amy, if you should just drop working with the young people. You should just work with the organizations to get them set up and running great internship programs. And you guys, I have like literally cried. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be coachable, but if I don't get to work directly with young people, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. Like, that's the whole point. So guys, this is a good you have to be truthful to yourself. I scaled back my focus on young people, but I have very specific things that come hell or high water, I am going to run at least twice a year. I'm going to run, instead of a 12-week sprint like we did, Christian, I'm condensing it to 4 weeks. In April and October, I run a career and leadership accelerator for 4 weeks. It's 30 hours, still very part-time, but it's a lot of the skills, hard and soft skills, and the mindset that employers are looking for in their interns and new hires. So it's a great way to get them trained up and excited. And then I'm building a pool of young talent that, yeah, I could connect them to the people in our membership. Great. But it's not like forcing an outcome. It's just sort of developing everybody and then more naturally having these networking conversations. So you guys, the reason I was like sort of testing out this whole idea of a virtual networking event today is I'm going to do this. And I think I'm just going to do it for free twice a year, where we can build up a lot of people on both sides, both the young people that are looking for opportunities or insights from industry leaders, and then organizations that might be looking to hire or they're looking to figure out their next moves, bring them together in a virtual networking event in the spring and the fall, and then everybody wins. So that's at the bottom of the screen where we offer this. This is the one place that we more formally can in the future, and this will be, bigger and sort of more lead time, we'll just say, to invite people to the virtual networking events. So that's really what we offer. Is for the young people, we have the Career and Leadership Accelerator. We do have a Career and Leadership Conference that's happening all day, as I said, on Friday, June 21st. That's what Mike's actually coming up from Florida to support me on. Super excited about that. Christian, I would love for you to be there if possible. And Debbie, I am pretty sure, I can't speak for her, she's not here to defend herself, but I'm pretty sure she will consider that a work day if you normally work on Fridays. Okay, so we can probably figure that out. Okay, so that's going to be amazing. And then we do have individual career coaching as well, if that's more suitable for the young people. But that's it. So guys, I am busy building out all these marketing funnels, they call them. And the good news, even though it's a little bit like, oh gosh, this is not my thing, and I know, Mike, you've done a lot with this. Once we build out the marketing funnels with the, the landing pages and making sure that we have the email sequences to follow up, we're done building out the infrastructure. So that's why I ask you guys, like, when somebody's interested in what you're doing, when someone's interested, what is the journey of that person? What is the journey of the young person, for example, who's interested in our CLA or our CLC, or for the organization? Is it clear? Is it simple for them to get in your world? So that's what I would just want to sort of like leave you guys with that. I know we're way over time. I'm going to, let me stop my share here. But that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I've been up to here, like clarifying our offerings and making sure. And then I'm like, oh, now we actually need to communicate that to people, because they're not going to assume, they're not going to know what we've been doing unless I communicate that. So it felt like a great time for me to just share with you guys a little bit what we're working on, how we might work together. If there's things that you guys want me to share in my network, very easy to do so on LinkedIn and occasionally Facebook. I'll do occasional professional type posts on Facebook, usually LinkedIn, or I'll tag you. So let's just make it easy for people to know what we're all doing and for us to help each other share what we're doing. So that's essentially what I wanted to get out of this. I am going to stop talking. I would love you guys to have a final comment, a final thought, or we can just peace out. But if you guys can take yourselves off mute, maybe just say something you got from today, or like maybe a next step for you, or you're going to connect with someone or take action. Like, what came out of this? What was helpful? Any feedback or last thoughts? So thanks, everybody.
AI is in your room recording this call and making a transcript.
There it is.
So you are implementing AI.
Great. Maria's like, what? I'm driving. Somebody watching
And
me?
Maria, drive safe.
Yes. Again, I'm glad I was able to get in. I was on another Zoom and that ran long. So, but again, I think this is a tremendous solution and a resource, and Amy, obviously a way to multiply the capabilities and still, of course, make time for your daughter and for your significant other.
Oh, thank you. It's so important. And do I know that more than ever, having gone through it? I spot on. Thank you, John.
Yeah. No, thank you. inviting me, Amy.
Oh, you're welcome. Of course, Maria. Thanks for being here.
Sometimes last minute is the best way, you know?
Totally.
Can you stay on after, or do you have a meeting? I'm in my car.
Yeah, I can stay on for just a couple minutes. I'm supposed to be on at 1:30, but I'm not running it. So I'm like, it's recorded and I've got a little flexibility there. So I will stay on for a couple minutes, absolutely, for you. But what else? Christian, did you get anything of value out of this today, or any next step for you?
I think so, but I just wanted to say thank you for inviting us. I was glad I was able to represent Magic Lamp Consulting here.
Yes, absolutely. And you'll have the recording. And if you guys want to do something, or I can request even my team, I can request Mompi or Melanie on my team if you wanted to splice that out, if that's helpful. You tell me, I'll give you the recording and then let me know if there's a request beyond that. Okay.
Yeah, just the full recording would work.
Okay, perfect. Mike's like,
Right.
yep.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Appreciate it.
everybody. Take care.
Bye now.
And Maria, I'm hanging out with you for a couple minutes here. Thanks,
Thank
John.
Okay.
Thanks, Kara.
See you,
Bye.
Kara.
See
Thank you.
Hello, my dear. And I'm going
Hi,
to stop
darling.
recording. So in the event, you start talking about other people. Just kidding. Joking. But anyways, thanks everybody for
Right.
watching. And Maria, let's hang for a minute, okay?